faithfully sharing value and exploring great books from around the world. Hi, this is Sally with the Book Talk. Today we're diving into Replay Netflix with the subtitle From an Idea to a Business Legend.
Netflix today is known for its original shows, like House of Cards and Stranger Things. It has almost 200 million paid subscribers worldwide, sitting firmly as the top global streamer, and is dubbed one of the four horsemen of U.S. stocks alongside Facebook, Amazon, and Google.
By September 2020, Netflix's market cap was over $200 billion, nearly 14 times bigger than IQIYO. Netflix was founded in 1997, and it began as a website renting and selling DVDs. During its growth, Netflix dealt with funding troubles, layoff scares, and even a CEO change. So how did it pull through those early crises? How did it beat rivals and make it to NASDAQ? Well, Replay Netflix covers Netflix's journey from start to going public. Marc Randolph, the author, co-founded Netflix and was its first CEO. He's an experienced tech entrepreneur and advisor who's boosted growth for many startups. In the book, Marc recounts Netflix's full story, from honing the idea to building the team, raising funds, and going public, showing us how a small firm took on giants. We'll break down Netflix's startup story into 3 stages in order. Stage 1, from idea to product launch. Stage 2, growth hurdles and key breakthroughs after launch. Stage 3, rebirth and a successful public offering. Finally, we'll discuss the key factors behind Netflix's success. First, let's talk about Stage 1, from January 1997 to April 1998, when Netflix was born and officially launched as a startup. What does it take to go from 0 to 1? Ideas, funding, and a team. How did Netflix gather all 3? There's the widely circulated version of Netflix's startup story. Netflix co-founder and current CEO Reed Hastings rented a movie, Apollo 13, from Blockbuster. When he returned the videotape, he was fined $40 for being late. Reed then thought, what if there were no late fees? How would that work? And so Netflix's idea was born.
This interesting startup story fits the Silicon Valley style perfectly.
The founder suddenly had a flash of insight and started the business. But in this book, that's not the whole story. Netflix's idea didn't come from the founder's experience or epiphany, but from the founding team's repeated research, continuous exploration, and analysis. Before co-founding Netflix, the author Marc Randolph was a marketing expert at a software testing company. His partner, Reed Hastings, was the CEO of a software development company. Reed's company acquired Marc's company, kept Marc as VP of marketing, and that's how they met. But soon after the acquisition was completed, Reed's company was about to be acquired itself. This put Reed, Marc, and their 2 new colleagues, Christina and Tara's, at risk of losing their jobs. Marc decided to start a business with them, while Reed wanted to focus on education but was willing to support Marc as an investor or advisor. Marc and Reed both lived in remote Scotts Valley, taking turns driving to Sunnyvale for work. Their commute became the best time to discuss ideas. Marc used his imagination to the fullest, while Reed, as an experienced investor, helped him rationally. Marc weighed the pros and cons, analyzed costs and benefits, and predicted future developments. Behind every good idea, there are 1,000 bad ones. Before settling on a business direction, Marc and Reed discussed hundreds of ideas, like custom baseball bats, personalized surfboards, and custom dog food for pets.
After rational analysis, Reed vetoed all these ideas.
Until one day, Marc was putting his daughter to sleep and watched a whole movie video with her. That sparked the idea of renting and selling videos online. He brought this idea to Reed for discussion, and coincidentally, Reed had just been fined $40 by Blockbuster and was fuming about it. This time, Reed was interested. Then Marc, Christina, and Therese researched and analyzed the videotape industry, but reality poured cold water on the small team. At that time, VHS tapes were very bulky, shipping costs were high, and competing with giants like Blockbuster with stores all over the US, made renting movies by mail seem like a pipe dream. Even though the online video rental idea got hit hard, Marc's team didn't give up easily. DVD, a new format, came into their view. DVD was super popular in Japan, but it had just started hitting the US market. DVD discs are light and compact, about the size of a CD, and fit right into an envelope. Mailing costs just 32 cents. American movie studios were also banking on DVD tech becoming mainstream, turning DVDs into collectible goods like CDs. So, studios pushed hard on popular movies for DVD releases. With perfect timing and advantages, Marc's team bet big on DVD, deciding to sell and rent DVDs online, aiming to dominate that niche market fast. In June 1997, to test if mailing DVDs worked, Marc and Reed did a hands-on experiment. They bought a CD of the same size, slid it into a greeting card envelope, and mailed it with a 32-cent stamp to Reed's place. The next day after mailing, Reed got the envelope with the CD perfectly fine. Mailing was doable, the idea was solid. Now they just needed funding to make it real. Marc and the team figured launching the website would take $1 million. Before Series A funding, running the site needed another $1 million, making it $2 million total. Reed, who'd been through the whole idea refine journey, was willing to invest as an angel backer. Reed worried Marc was too cocky about the idea and wanted him to get more input, so he cut the promised $2 million down to $1.9 million. Marc had to raise another $100 from others, but no one liked his idea. Even his wife said it'd never fly. Yeah, duh.
To get funding, Marc pitched his biz idea to big-name investors like Alexander Balkensky, his old boss Philip Kahn, and others.
None of them were keen on DVD rentals. Alexander even mocked it bluntly. This idea is bullshit, but Marc stuck to his guns, kept pitching to new investors, and finally won over his mom and former boss. Steve Kahn put in the last $100,000, sealing the tough fundraising. After securing funding, Marc started building the team. Though Netflix's early salaries were much lower than other companies, Marc and Reed built a strong team by granting stock options to each founding member, laying the foundation for Netflix's rapid early growth. And so, in October 1997, after completing angel funding and team assembly, Marc led the founding team through the 0 to 1 startup journey. They built DVD inventory, experimented with storage and shipping methods, designed mailers, and tested the website. To help users find movies quickly, Netflix bought extensive film data from Allmovie Guide, directors, actors, release dates, genres, awards, building the site's database backbone. Now, on April 14th, 1998, after 6 months of intense prep, Netflix officially launched. Despite thorough pre-launch preparations, unexpected issues still emerged on launch day.
Massive traffic crashed Netflix's servers. Eric's team had to urgently buy replacements from local electronics stores.
Despite the problems, Netflix got 6 times the expected orders that day, a surprisingly decent start. All right, that concludes Netflix's first development stage. Next, we'll cover stage 2. From April 1998 to August 2000, when Netflix faced post-launch growth struggles, but rebounded through 2 disruptive innovations. After launch, the team kept optimizing processes and services. Sales grew fast, hitting over $94,000 monthly by June 1998. But the data revealed a problem. DVD sales were $93,000 while rentals were just $1,000, meaning users had little interest in renting DVDs. To fix this, Marc partnered with DVD manufacturers like Toshiba and Sony, adding coupons to DVD players. The coupons allowed free Netflix DVD rentals. While this brought users, the high customer acquisition cost strained operating funds. 2 months after launch, Amazon expressed interest in acquiring Netflix. At the time, Amazon's homepage sold books online. It had gone public successfully, raising $54 million.
Amazon wanted to become an online department store, expanding categories with music and video products as next targets.
It set its sights on Netflix's online DVD sales business. Amazon made a $15 million acquisition offer. It was tempting, but Mark and Reed believed DVD business had greater potential and politely declined. After rejecting Amazon's offer, Reed started raising new operating funds for Netflix. Reed was a highly respected venture capitalist. His commitment to actively participate as chairman won investors' trust. Ultimately, Netflix raised $6 million, supporting business development and expansion. By mid-September 1998, Netflix still hadn't found a growth breakthrough, and internal management issues emerged. Reed had an honest talk with Mark, proposing to join Netflix full-time as CEO, with Mark as president for co-management. Initially, Mark didn't understand. He wanted to pursue his dream and steer the company himself. But after deep reflection, Mark realized while he was excellent, better than 98% of entrepreneurs, Reed was more confident and focused, better than 99.9% of entrepreneurs, and would play a bigger role in future funding. So Mark accepted, and Reed became CEO. In spring 1999, Netflix moved to a larger office. Reed upgraded the team too. Despite elite talent joining, Netflix still faced old problems. No users wanted to rent DVDs on Netflix. So Netflix made strategic decision, abandoned DVD sales, focused solely on rentals. Netflix formed strategic partnership with Amazon. Netflix users wanting to buy DVDs would go to Amazon's site. Amazon users wanting to rent DVDs would come to Netflix. This deal brought minimal benefit to Netflix, with few new users from Amazon. By summer 1999, without DVD sales funding operations, Netflix was in crisis. DVDs piled up unused with high operating costs. To solve the rental business problems, Reed and Mark led the team through weeks of research and analysis, ultimately launching a disruptive innovation. The industry standard was pay-per-rental, which Netflix also used. Customers paid per DVD rented, plus late fees if overdue. From the user's perspective, pay-per-rental had two main issues. First, they weren't sure if they'd like the movie they rented.
If they didn't like it after renting, the money was wasted.
Second, if they forgot to return it on time, they'd get hit with extra late fees. Both problems reduced users' willingness to rent. So how to fix this? After constant testing and refining, Netflix created a monthly subscription model. Under this model, after a free first-month trial, users paid just $19.99 monthly to rent unlimited DVDs.
Every time users mailed back a DVD, Netflix automatically sent the next one. No limits, no late fees.
Since DVDs cost around $25 each back then, Netflix's $19.99 monthly fee was a steal.
The subscription model was a hit. Website traffic jumped 300% in the first 3 months, with subscriptions surging.
Now, Netflix needed to keep users paying monthly and renting new DVDs. The team realized if users knew what they wanted, they just search.
But if customers weren't sure what to watch, finding a liked movie among 5,000 plus titles was incredibly hard.
Netflix redesigned the site to show 4 random movies on the homepage with covers, runtimes, release dates, and plots for easy browsing. But these recommendations were fully automated, randomly picked movies that might not match users' tastes.
And they might not even be in stock.
To fix this, they needed an algorithm tailoring recommendations to user tastes and inventory, making picks more personalized while reducing stock pressure. Mark and the engineers first thought of using movie-related data to build models and find connections between films. Data like movie genres, actors, locations, release years, languages, and so on. But this tagging algorithm was too mechanical and didn't account for each film's unique style and reality. Let me give you an example with a Chinese star to make it clear. Take Sun Li. Some viewers love her in palace intrigue dramas like Empresses in the Palace or The Legend of Miyue, while others prefer urban workplace shows like I Will Find You a Better Home. Through team discussions and research, Netflix realized the best way to recommend what users want was analyzing their own data to model and optimize algorithms. And now, Netflix introduced a process called collaborative filtering. Simply put, if you rented a movie on Netflix, It grouped you with other users who rented that same movie. Then, it recommended other movies rented by that user group. Collaborative filtering dramatically boosted recommendation relevance. But it wasn't perfect. Just tracking rental history couldn't tell if users actually liked the movie. A user rented the movie, but they might not have liked it, or maybe rented it for someone else. To make recommendations more accurate, Netflix launched a rating system, encouraging frequent ratings to gauge movie preferences. By combining collaborative filtering with ratings, Netflix built an algorithm model predicting user movie preferences. In February 2000, Netflix launched the movie matching feature, which felt incredibly human, like a seasoned video store clerk asking what you've watched, then helpfully guiding you to interesting movies from the massive library. The subscription model and recommendation algorithm transformed Netflix's business, bringing huge growth and making it synonymous with online DVD rentals. That concludes the second stage of Netflix's development. Next, we'll cover stage 3, from September 2000 to May 2002, when Netflix weathered the dot-com bubble crisis, but ultimately succeeded in going public. The subscription model and recommendation algorithm helped Netflix gain 200,000 paying users. Renting over 800,000 DVDs monthly fully validated the business model. Now, for better growth, Netflix filed an IPO application with the SEC in April 2000. However, due to the dot-com bubble burst and prolonged stock market slump, Netflix canceled its IPO in September, facing massive financial pressure. The team once considered selling Netflix to a physical video rental chain. Reed and Marc of Netflix used connections to get a meeting with Blockbuster CEO John Antioco. Reed analyzed to Antioco the business value of Blockbuster acquiring Netflix to achieve online-offline synergy. However, Antioco believed the entire internet craze was overhyped. Netflix's business model was unsustainable and would keep burning cash. He arrogantly refused to acquire Netflix. Since it couldn't be sold, they had to achieve profitability on their own. In early 2001, through precise analysis, Netflix needed to hit 1 million paying subscribers and cut costs by year-end to turn profitable. To achieve this goal, Netflix did two things. First, improve user satisfaction and word of mouth. At the time, Netflix already offered next-day delivery in some areas, which effectively boosted new user conversion. Because next-day delivery increased satisfaction among existing users, leading to word of mouth that brought new users.
Now, to sprint toward the 1 million subscriber goal, Netflix had to expand next-day delivery to more areas.
Tom Dillon analyzed hundreds of thousands of data points, setting up 60 convenience store-sized hubs across the U.S., achieving next-day delivery in 95% of areas. This efficient, low-cost service greatly boosted satisfaction and word of mouth, helping Netflix rapidly gain users and hit the 1 million goal early. The second thing was layoffs. Just reaching 1 million subscribers wasn't enough for profitability. They had to drastically cut costs. Barry, the CFO, proposed layoffs as the solution, without harming business growth. Subsequently, in September 2001, Netflix initiated layoffs, cutting nearly 40% of staff, mainly those not fitting the company culture or new hires, reducing labor costs. Ultimately, Netflix became profitable within the year. On May 23, 2002, the profitable Netflix attracted investor favor. Netflix successfully listed on NASDAQ, raising funds that helped rapidly expand operations. After fierce competition, Netflix finally surpassed Blockbuster to become DVD rental king. In 2003, Marc left Netflix, but continued supporting its growth as a shareholder. Through Replay Netflix, we see the real entrepreneurial journey. Looking back, you'll see Netflix's success came from innovation and focus. Innovation was the key driver for Netflix's leadership throughout its history. From DVD rentals to subscription models and algorithms, Netflix constantly innovated, even disrupting itself to surpass limits. Take Netflix's home rental library. Normally, DVDs would ship from and return to company warehouses. But in Netflix's early model, DVDs shipped not from warehouses, but from previous users' homes. Netflix cleverly turned homes into temp warehouses. When customer A returned a DVD, it went straight to customer B. This eliminated need for nationwide warehouses, cutting costs while boosting efficiency. Today, Netflix dominates streaming. Actually, Netflix's streaming move shows its ingrained innovative DNA. In 2007, despite 25% yearly DVD growth, Netflix predicted DVD would peak by 2013. They ventured into online video with a streaming plugin. Watch Now was radical at the time and technically awful, but Netflix kept investing in streaming tech, iterating algorithms, improving compatibility, and optimizing UX. Netflix ultimately succeeded in switching lanes. Meanwhile, rival Blockbuster failed to adapt, declaring bankruptcy in 2013, and Netflix persisted in self-disruption, successfully transforming. The emergence of Watch Now permanently changed Netflix's business. Netflix clung to innovation without nostalgia for the past.
Many companies like to spread themselves thin across multiple tracks, parallelizing efforts, thinking one path will succeed.
Whereas Netflix, upon sensing new opportunities, doubles down and commits fully. As mentioned earlier, Netflix abandoning its profitable DVD sales business to focus on rentals is a classic example. After visiting Amazon, the two founders were convinced that if Amazon entered the DVD sales market, Netflix could never compete. Netflix needed to focus on DVD rentals. In fact, despite the slow growth of rentals at the time, Marc clearly realized that, with experienced retailers flooding in, the DVD sales market would soon become a red ocean competition, while DVD rentals were overlooked, profitable, and full of potential. Moreover, Netflix had a first-mover advantage, so it should focus on rentals. This consistent focus was also shown when transitioning to streaming. In 2007, despite capital markets media and some insiders not being optimistic about the online streaming plugin, Watch Now, Netflix still firmly believed in the future of online video, investing more than half of its 2007 profits into streaming tech R&D, resolutely completing the business transformation. In 2011, Netflix split its online video and DVD businesses, allowing users to subscribe to online video separately. However, this meant that subscribing to both services cost 60% more than before the split, causing Netflix to lose 800,000 users in Q3 2011. This, in turn, caused an 80% drop in stock price. Despite ongoing losses, Netflix continued investing heavily in streaming technology because the company's leadership maintained high market sensitivity, foreseeing the decline of DVDs. As streaming technology matured, when the online video boom arrived, Netflix had the best streaming tech, vast content rights, and the largest user base, building a strong moat.
Its position as streaming king solidified, with the market flocking to it. Clearly knowing its strengths and position was a key factor in Netflix's success.
At the same time, a truly honest, open, and transparent corporate culture is also a powerful backbone for the organization. Sally Booktalk has covered the Netflix Culture Handbook before. Nai Fei is just another Chinese translation for Netflix. That book goes into detail about Netflix's corporate culture. If you're interested, you can check out the story of Netflix's journey from an idea to a business legend. And that concludes our talk here. Netflix's success wasn't just luck. It came from a brilliant founding team, game-changing innovation, and sheer focus. When hit with operational and layoff crises, Netflix always found ways to push beyond, winning over the market and users, making the impossible possible. Okay, that wraps up our dive into Replay Netflix. You can find the notes below and catch you in the next episode.